As Ruth mentioned, this is a very exciting day for the City of Edmonton as it marks the official first step towards our goal of securing EXPO 2017 for our city. I'm here to represent our team of more than 100 community volunteers and consultants that have participated in putting together the detailed bid documents. And many of these individuals are here today, and I want to acknowledge them for taking the time to be here. The extensive participation of all the volunteers to this point clearly demonstrates the interest and the excitement that our bid proposal has generated. So, let's talk about our bid. On behalf of our team, I am pleased to unveil the key components and details of Edmonton's bid to host EXPO 2017, as submitted to the federal and the provincial governments for their consideration. Our bid addresses the essential Government of Canada bid submission requirements on theme, on site and financial soundness, and deficit guarantee. EXPO 2017 is for all Edmontonians, Albertans and Canadians, and coinciding with Canada's 150th year of nationhood. It will be a good time, maybe as Ruth said, a great time, to celebrate what our nation is all about. Our theme of harmony of energy and our future planet has worldwide appeal. It inspires nation participation, and it aligns with provincial and federal mandates. We chose energy because it not only applies to traditional sources of fossil and renewable fuels, but as you saw in the video, also to human energy, cultural energy, and is this energy which we expect to highlight to knowledge share, to have symposia, and to have legacy centers of excellence. Our principal site will be the University of Alberta South Campus. And this was selected because of all the BIE requirements to be a single contiguous site with a single owner. It's accessible by LRT, and most of all, because the infrastructure that is used for EXPO, or a good portion of it, can be reused and incorporated into the U of A master plan for the South Campus. We also plan to use a complementary site of West Rossdale and the legislature grounds. Redevelopment is already planned for these areas, and they will make great celebratory spaces to augment the EXPO experience. The two sites will be linked not only by LRT, but also river taxis on the North Saskatchewan River to enhance the overall EXPO experience. And development on these sites will proceed in a more defined timetable, and Edmonton will be left with great legacy facilities. EXPO will help to transform our city. I now want to address the financial soundness of the investment. Since the beginning of the year, approximately $2 million has been spent on 14 detailed studies, including the site, the theme, capital expenditures, and economic impact. Therefore, we feel quite comfortable with our financial model that is presented in our bid submission. As part of this process, our consultants, many of whom have direct experience with past EXPOs, researched the financial models of past EXPOs and other similar international events. Our numbers are based on these reports. EXPO 2017 requires a significant investment from the three orders of government, but this investment is expected to be recouped through positive economic impacts. Our bid documents provide a breakdown of the total investment of $2.3 billion. And for information purposes, the numbers they're talking about are all in 2009 dollars. However, our bid documents also provide escalated dollar estimates. So offsetting revenue and sponsorship is about $0.23 billion, which means that the total government funding investment is just over $2 billion. The majority of this investment is for capital infrastructure, much of which will be reused following EXPO. It is estimated that of the $1.7 billion in capital expenditures, approximately $900 million is for facilities that are already currently planned but not committed, and about $800 million is incremental to EXPO. The rest of the costs are for operating costs. The economic impact is that EXPO will inject new spending, tax revenue, and tourism revenue into the local, provincial, and national economies. Over 37,000 person-years of employment, $1.5 billion in wages and salaries, and $2.6 billion increase in gross national product, and $818 million in government tax revenue. So the next steps for our bid. It is now up to the federal and the provincial governments to evaluate our bid and decide on their funding commitment. We expect this process to go into the spring of 2010. And during this period, the orders of government will also be discussing their relative contribution to this overall budget. And to keep the momentum of the bid going with the designated staff through this period, we've also asked City Council for $500,000 from the 2010 budget. No other expenditures are planned until we know whether we have favorable support from the federal and provincial governments. Now, assuming a favorable response that in the spring, then there will be roughly $22 million required to make the international submission to BIE in the summer of 2011. And then the successful host city will be selected in 2012 by BIE following a votes by about 155 member countries. So what this means is that in terms of the expenditures, and this is where we have to think ahead about our investment, most of the expenditures, or actually really any of the significant expenditures, won't start until 2013, with the majority being in the 2014, 15, 16 timeframe. So clearly, this is an investment in the future of our city, and it's a decision that we can make on the basis of where we think we're going to be, 7 to 8 to 10 years down the road, as opposed to today. Those are the key highlights. I'll be happy to answer questions after the other presentations. Thank you.